Hello, welcome all the teachers, head teachers and my dear children. Today we are going to have a series of programs that's been taken up by SCERT to orient on SSC April 23 new pattern question papers, and we have finished yesterday non-languages. Now we are going to have languages from today onwards. I think, my dear teachers and children, and this year is a very different kind of thing that we used to have two papers in every subject. Now from this year we have only one. So to comprise the question paper 2 into one, and we have done our best to do and to cover all the academic years and without missing any syllabi. So this is a very important area where we need to orient you upon this. So Secretary Education and Director of School Education and SCERT Director and the team member, her team members are here to orient you in this regard. I think this is going to be very useful for the teachers, especially for the children also. So we have taken up this exercise to orient you on this topic. This is a very important area. To comprise the two papers into one is, technically there are some problems, but we could come up over there, and now we are going to give a specific item wise. Especially we talk first academic standards. That we have three major academic standards that need to address upon, and again we have the item wise blueprint that we are going to discuss here, and again after that question wise analysis also will do here. So to discuss all these things and to orient you upon, and I have very good team members with me on the panel. To my left, Latha Madhavi, and who is also colleague, and she is from SCERT, and left to her, Syed Irshad Ali is very promising and enthusiastic and dynamic teacher from Telangana Minority Model School Society, and to left to him, the very promising and experienced teacher Raghuram is also. He is also a school assistant working there and from Mahbubnagar district. So my dear friends, I think that this session is going to be a wonderful session for you, and it's going to be useful for you and to achieve the very good way, because English is so beautiful, non-stress manner we take up. We tried our best to address everything into comprising to one paper, but it's very important. It is not unlike other years. So this is a different first time that we are going to go with this one paper that is to be very clearly understood by you people. I think, first of all, we begin with this session with Latha, and she's going to talk about the major academic standards that we are going to have, and after that again one by one we take up the program. So here first I ask to Latha to take up the session. Over to you, Latha.
Thank you, sir. Friends, first and foremost I would like to congratulate all the English teachers. When we look back at the NAS results to 2021, it speaks that in our Telangana state we are just a step ahead of the national level, and this is a very proud thing we have to say, and I applaud all the teachers whoever have worked for this and the great efforts you all put in to orient our children or to train our children and to make them understand the third language, which is not at all their mother tongue. And I know many of our teachers come from the Telugu background, but still your efforts speak through the NAS result. And this is the one greatest achievement, I should say. So this also alarms us not to step back or step down. So this should be always, Telangana should be the leading state in all the subjects, I wish, but it's good thing it's in English in advance. So please keep it up and please do the same in the continuing years. And coming to the paper pattern and all, we all know that the paper pattern is changed. After the COVID, this is the first exam where we are going to address all the children with 100% syllabus. And in that also, when you look at paper, we have two parts, like part A and part B, which my friends Irshad and Raghu will be discussing in the next few minutes. And coming to the thing is, part A is exclusively related to the textbook, and it is familiar text, and part B is the application, how the child is able to do. So, we are going to test these two things in the paper, and first I would like to say that why are we testing this? And most of our teachers or parents, all of them believe that learning something is for marks, which is not at all right. Learning a language is something for application or communication. We are able to read it properly and understand it, and then use it when we are talking to somebody or when we are expressing ourselves. This is the main intention of inserting language as a subject. And coming to the English subject, we have four academic standards, that is first one is read and comprehend, and next one is grammar and vocabulary, which is taken under one part, and then next is creative writing. So, these are the three things, and whereas grammar and vocabulary we have put together, because almost here we are testing the sentence and the words we use. So, coming to the first one, as the later years, like recently we have we started using, instead of academic standards, learning outcomes. Learning outcomes are nothing but a part of academic standards. Academic standard is a comprehensive thing, and in that we have learning outcomes. So, whatever our question paper is there, what learning outcomes are we testing? I want to just reflect on that for a minute. So, first thing is reading and comprehension, where we are just trying to understand how far the child has gained the knowledge in understanding or reading, and if he is able to read the information whatever is available around him, like advertisements or posters or product labels or any notice boards, whatever it is, if he is able to read and understand, that says that he has attained the language learning skill. And second one is, what are the strategies he is using, like is he able to infer, is he able to through skimming and scanning, he is able to read and then infer from what he has read, and is he able to summarize, is he able to make key points or key notes of what he has read. This is what we are going to test. And lastly is he able to read silently and understand the layers of meanings. That means in between the lines, what the lines are saying, what the line is directly saying, and what is the previous line and the later lines what they are speaking. So, is the child able to do this? We are going to test in the paper. And next coming is the grammar and vocabulary, which we have in grammar. We are going to check the specific patterns what the grammar contains. Like as we all know, there are different patterns in grammar. So, is the child able to understand the pattern, or if one pattern of sentence is given and if he has to change it into another pattern of the sentence, is he able to do it? And linkers, is he able to use proper linkers whenever he is writing discourses or anything? In that, when he is framing a sentence, is he able to use the linkers? That is what we are going to test in the grammar. And next coming is vocabulary, how better he is able to present the language, what is the meaning of the word he wants to say, communicate, or what is the appropriate words he is expressing, like he has an idea, but how better he is expressing, like the same word can be used as a noun and also as a verb. You can see in the example what I have just displayed on the screen, and in the same way how better he is presenting the language, right? Is he bringing the brevity or the beauty of the language by using collocations, homonyms, homograms, of all these things. So, these things are to be noticed in the discourses if the child is able to write the discourse perfectly. And lastly is the creative expressions, and in this how better, like whatever the frame the question is fixing, is the child able to respond according to the question to that particular point where the expression, like self expression, is given. So, these are the areas where the question papers will be testing on, and I think I have given a clear picture of the learning outcomes. Learning outcomes are tested in our question papers.
Yeah. Thank you, Latha. And I think you must have understood what actually these academic standards to be tested, and of course, and in the teaching learning process you must have addressed it. But one thing, it is not only this one way kind of thing, the two-way audio also there at 10:45, and we give a slot for you. We display a number that if you have any doubts, and you can directly you can speak over the phone, and so that we try to address your field level problems. And thank you very much, Latha, once again. And now we know that this is very important to understand the new pattern, and we are going to have a different blueprint. And a blueprint, and again after that, again we are going to have the weightage also very important. As a teachers, you need to understand. Of course, the children, you make the children to understand what the weightage part is. As Latha was saying that English is a little ahead than other subjects, because the way that it is being designed there right from the textbook and the question paper pattern. So here now I invite Syed Irshad Ali to discuss on the blueprint and the weightage part. Thank you, and over to you, Irshad.
Thank you very much, sir. It's my privilege to discuss the blueprint with all my teacher fraternity. First of all, the moment when government has come up with this idea of single paper, there was a huge hue and cry about how could it be prepared. So without wasting much time, let me take you through the blueprint. Okay, let's see what's the weightage we have provided. We made sure that each and every aspect of English being covered. Okay, there was a lot of brainstorming being done before it's been finalized. So each and every, as just now Latha ma'am discussed, the academic standards being covered. So for reading comprehension, there is no essay question. There are only short answers. There will be 8 questions. Okay, 24 marks being allotted. Whereas coming to very short answers, there will be 4 questions. Okay, and 8 marks being allotted. And coming to the same reading comprehension, in the part B, in the objective type also, it will be tested, and for that there are 5 questions. Each question carries 1 mark, so 5 marks. So overall total 37 marks with 17 questions will be tested under reading comprehension. Coming to the next standard, academic standard, that is grammar and vocabulary, and the detailed question wise description will be given by our
other panel member. Raghuram will address it.
Yes. Yeah. Grammar and vocabulary also, as we all know, we don't cover essay or short answer in grammar and vocabulary, but whereas we have covered 8 marks for grammar and vocabulary, okay, covering 1 bit, in which there will be 6 questions. Out of 6, 4 you need to be answered. There is a choice over there, and then objective type grammar will be tested over there, 15 items and 15 marks allotted over there. Total 16 questions and 23 marks awarded over there. And finally, it's creative writing, whereas essay covers over here, as we have minor and major discourses. So one major discourse and 2 minor discourse will be tested, wherein 3 questions and 20 marks being awarded over there. And short answers, there are no short answers, even very short answers, as we know that creative writing falls under essay. So that's why 3 questions be asked and 20 marks being awarded. Overall 80 marks paper and 36 questions will be asked in the blueprint. So if we get into that, we'll see that question wise.
Good.
In question wise we will see that, and in that question number 1 to 4 we will have a textbook reading A, wherein short type short answer questions will be there. Each question carries 4 marks, okay, 12 marks, and textbook reading B will be covered over here in the 5th to 8th question. Also 4 and 3 marks, 12, and textbook independent will come 9 to 12. This time we have introduced study skills, so as to test the children's study skills. Already it's there in the textbook, but it was not been tested in previous papers. So we thought of testing that. So what are the different areas that will be discussed later on. So there 4 questions will be there, and each question carries 2 marks. And then coming to the question number 13, which is text independent, 1 item will be given. So different transformation, voice, reported speech, degrees of comparison, conditionals, synthesis, those will be asked over here, and it will be only 1 bit altogether. Okay, that's why in that we have 1, 2, 3, 6 and 4 need to be answered. So, 2 choice. So, 4 to the 8 marks will be awarded over there. And 14th question again coming to essay type and major discourse from group A. Here we will have internal choice, wherein from group A description or narration or play script or conversation, interview, choreography script will be tested. This is completely textbook dependent. Okay, whereas group B, as we all know, it will be thematic based, and one from group B, biographical sketch, either speech or essay, letter writing or report writing will be tested. So, this is how the blueprint is all about. We made sure that each and every aspect of language being covered and tested. Hope this will serve the purpose both to the teachers and the students.
Yeah, that's a good. Thank you very much, Irshad. And I think it's a cursory look that he has put upon. Really the wonderful, because it's a rubrics that as a teacher you need to understand. Even you should make the children to understand the blueprint kind of thing. This is a very important thing. It doesn't mean that only the blueprint is enough, and we need to go with this, covering all the 3 major this academic standards. Now we are going to have a question wise analysis, and along with this, and again we have this principles of evaluation also. This is also very important. The teachers must keep this at the back of their mind to understand it, because the evaluation also very important to understand, to go with this question, to talk, to make the children to understand, sensitize on this part. So now when I request Raghuram to discuss this matter and this question paper analysis first, and then after that principles of evaluation. And I think over to you, Raghuram.
Thank you. Good morning to ELT fraternity. Welcome to the session. And here we all know that the paper has been compressed, and we have 36 test items. And in part A, question number 1 to 16, and part B, question number 17 to 36. And I would like to give the detailed description of the questions. And please have a look at the slide. Right. So, question number 1 to 4, these questions are based on the input from reading A of our textbook, and whereas question number 5 to 8, the input is an extract of either B or C reading of the textbook. And this time the weightage has been increased, and here in this section each question carries 3 marks, and mostly the questions are inferential and evaluative and critical levels of comprehension. We just can't expect questions based on memory or recall and recognition. Such questions will not appear. And remember, when we are looking into the response to the children, these are very valid points to consider. The first thing is whether or not the response is contextually relevant. What answer does the question demand, and whether or not the child has presented the particular response. So, when we are looking into the principles of evaluation, the very first and foremost thing is contextual relevance, and then the child is expected to answer the questions in 3 to 4 course. But what is more important is contextual relevance as well as grammaticality. We have to look into the pattern, the use of language properly, and the answer is between 3 and 5 sentences. So, we should see conventions of writing and coherence and cohesion. So, when we are evaluating these questions, we have to take all these points into consideration. That is very, very important. For that is the reason the weightage has been increased. And question number 1 to 4 and 1 to 8, the major difference is question number 1 to 4 is based on reading A slot, whereas question number 5 to 8 based on reading slot either B or C of our textbook. Now, we are coming to the other area, which is a bit new. Although we have been practicing in our textbooks, it is a bit new, and we have this has been introduced for the first time. That is what interpreting tables or charts, or what just you can say non-verbal presentation, non-verbal patterns. So, what are the possible inputs? We do not expect a text here, rather you will find the information in the form of tables, graphs, or even bar graph, pie chart, and even a tree diagram, and sometimes maybe a contents page or even bibliography or works cited. So, this lot has 4 questions and each question carries 2 marks. So, what are the possible questions? Okay, what are the areas that we can cover here in this area? So, generally maybe an overall view, I mean what is the text about, or what information we get from that maybe, and a few questions based on compare and contrast are looking into specific information or making some comparison between the 2 parts of the input, and at least some questions will be on your own area or view, and how would you feel about this, and do you think this is right. So, this is and the answers may be 2 to 3 sentences. Okay, the quantity of the response is okay, but rather what is more important, the way of presentation and how the child has presented the response, that is more important. So, dear friends, when you come to reading comprehension here in part A, question number 1 to 12, 1 to 4, 5 to 8 and 9 to 12 reading section, and the other reading part which will you find in part B. And very importantly I want to tell you is part A carries 60 marks from 1 to 16, and part B carries 20 marks from 17 to 36, and very important is part A and part B are generally given together. In other subjects what we feel, and part B is given at the before 30 minutes of the slot, and whereas when we come to English these 2 are given together, keeping the test item the time that the child needs to look into the inputs right. And the other question number 13 is transformation. Right. Question number 13 is based on transformation. The input is textbook independent. So, maybe a passage or even a story that appears, and in which 6 slots, 6 segments are underlined, and the child has to read the text, read the total text, paying attention to the underlined segments of the passage, and here 6 are given, and there is a choice. The child has to answer only 4 as directed. So, when we are looking into transformation, the basic transformation is voice, reported speech, degrees of comparison, conditionals and all, and the other area is synthesis, which is the use of linkers and relativization and use of certain structural items like to, so that, not only, but also, no sooner than, as soon as, enough, etc. The child has to answer only 4 out of 6. This is considered as one test item, and when we post marks here, we have to count all and we have to award marks for 8. That is very important when you are working with the OMR sheet. So, there suppose some children, they have answered all the 6, so we have to pick up only 4 which are correct. So, how will be it? Generally out of 6, 3 will be exclusively on transformation, pure transformation, and 3 will be on synthesis. It is an expected pattern, and the point is that there is some choice is given. So, for some children synthesis might be easy, when for others transformation may be easy. To maintain some balance, 6 are given, and the children have to answer only 4, and this is the distribution of marks for question number 13. And when we are coming to question number 14 to 16, which is based on major and minor discourses.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, do you want to say anything on the principles of evaluation more, so that teachers could understand it? When you wanted to say something, on the questions, only 13 questions you have discussed at length. Some more inputs that you wanted to give on principles of evaluation.
Yeah, actually, from question number 1 to 8, we have already discussed it, and the very important thing is, as far as principles of evaluation is concerned, contextual relevance is more important, and whereas use of syntax and the use of language, which is more important, followed by conventions of writing, coherence and cohesion, and using the linkers. This is very important, and the given marks will be distributed among these principles of evaluation. And when we are coming to transformation of sentences, there is sometimes a chance that more than one correct answer is possible. So, if the answer is considered correct, we have to award marks. So, we may not be having a hard and fast rule that only this must be the fixed pattern. It is possible in some areas, but sometimes, for example, using while, when you are working with combining two sentences, you can use while as a linker, and you can use while in the part of a participle phrase. For example, he was crossing a road, he saw an accident, for example. And if you want to join these sentences, while he was crossing the road, he saw an accident, or while crossing the road, he saw an accident. In both cases, the answer is correct. So, even in principles of evaluation also, we can find more than one right answer. So, every time the children are given freedom, and we have to invite divergent responses, and as far as the answer fits in the context, and we have to award them marks.
That's good. The very good thing, because divergence is the dynamics of the language. In fact, we need to invite it. So now he has put very comprehensive presentation on this, and up to 13th question. Now I request Latha to go with this in the 14th, 15th, and 16th question, so that she would analyze it. This major and the minor discourses. Over to you, Latha.
Yes, sir. Friends, as we all know that what are the minor discourses and major discourses, you all are very clear about it, and I am very confident that you all know which comes under major discourse and which are the discourses that comes under minor discourse. First thing keeping in mind is the question number 14, which has major discourses, and in this we have two questions. We have internal choice. So, in that internal choice, the child has to pick any one. If the child is writing both the things, so the marks may be awarded for both the discourses depending upon the criteria. That means how this is to be done. The theme, the central idea of the discourse should be given 2 points, and then the sequencing of it 1 point, then the grammar 1 point, and the vocabulary, presentable vocabulary or good vocabulary 1 point, and cohesive devices 1 point. So, in that way, as we all already knew how to divide the marks, in the same way the 10 points are divided, and which discourse is getting the highest points, that is to be considered. So, if the child is writing one of discussing about it, like you can direct take away that as the benchmark for allotting the major discourse points. And next, coming to the minor discourses, here we do not have a choice, but we have two minor discourses. Earlier also we used to have the same way, and here we have two minor discourses, and this each one carries 5 marks, and this 5 marks are divided between them, but here we have a limit of words. That means the discourse should contain not more than 50 to 100 words, whereas the major discourse does not have the limit of words, but it has limit of exchanges or limit of sequencing the ideas. Like suppose a narrative is asked, then it can be around 10 to 12 ideas or whatever it is, and if the conversation is there, 10 to 15 exchanges, or if it is an essay, it is marked with sentences, number of sentences, but here it is number of words. That we should keep in point of view when even the child, whoever is addressing the minor discourse, it should not be too lengthy also. That says that the child is not able to present his message or notice or poster in a using minimal language. So, language is again a gimmicks of extending it and comprising it. So, this the child should be able to do. That is what is tested in this major and minor discourses, and how better he is able to present his ideas or his own self of expression through the language. This is tested here. So, this is about the 14th, 15th and 16th questions.
Okay. Thank you, Latha. And now this is once again I remind you that at 10:45 and this number will be displayed on the screen, so that if you wanted to have any interaction kind of thing, any questions that you wanted to pose to the panelist, and you're free to ask questions. And now let's go to this in other 17 to 21st question, because here we have a text independent, because as this is the textbook is designed in that shape that where the language can be applicable, as in the beginning Latha mentioned about it. It has to be applied. So we have a slot where the text independent questions also there. Now I request Irshad to discuss upon this.
Okay, sir. First of all, let me give few instructions regarding this. From here on, after 16th question, 17th onwards, part B starts. So when it comes to the part B, here as we have done during COVID, the answers will be answered in the question paper itself, and that should be attached along with the part A, okay, booklet of part A. So one thing right after it's been seen that during the course of time after the new model paper, people are in a false impression that when we say text independent, they are blindly following, and even I have got few calls regarding that and discussed with other seniors that they are thinking it's only poem. It's nothing as such. So when it says text independent, it could be poem, or there is also a chance of asking a reading comprehension kind of passage also. So not necessarily poem, but there is a scope of asking passage also. Here there will be 5 questions, and same, each carries 1 mark. So 5 marks will be awarded. So here is a small example which already we have shared with you in one of the model papers recently, which been displayed in the SCERT site also. So one of those poem. So going with this poem, everybody is thinking that there will be a poem, but nothing as such. There is a scope of asking passage also. So 5 questions will be asked, and each carries 1 mark, and make sure the question paper setter will keep in mind that if he is covering both the passages, there is a chance of giving poem here. If he gives poem A and from reading B or C, then there is a chance of giving passage over here. But you cannot write it off as that this section is only for poems. No. So I hope all my teachers out there get this clarity, that it depends from perspective of the question paper setter. So that's it about 17 to 21.
That's a good. This is a text independent kind of thing. This is also very important. Now, when again I wanted to ask this Raghuram to discuss the 22nd question to 26th question, and where that editing is a very important. You know that this is a where that we address the language authenticity with the children. This is a very important area. While teaching, I think you must have enjoyed it. And editing is a very important slot where we need to go along with. This is also a very important thing. The 22nd to 26th question that I request to discuss with the teachers and the children. Raghuram, over to you.
Right. And editing is considered a nightmare. Indeed, it is not at all a nightmare. We have a notion many times.
No, if it is practiced in the classroom, it's not a nightmare. In fact, because the way that the teachers always, they feel that editing is a nightmare. Once you venture into it, once you venture into it, it's an enjoyable activity. In fact,
Sure. So when we look into editing, the very first question, what do we do there? In this section, we see the acceptable or the proper use of language, and we know the source is maybe A, B or C reading passages of our textbook, not a poem, right? Because poetry, where we don't find, we hardly find any grammatical rules. So that's why don't expect a poem under this category, but a text. So a text which is a meaningful chunk. It is not taken abruptly. The extract from the text, the extract will have some meaningful chunk, a context or even a situation within the text, and that will be extracted. And there, the first sentence is the guiding sentence, and it should be error free. It helps us to identify the tense and other aspects of the text. That helps a lot. Why this? Sometimes the numbered sentences are correct when they are kept in isolation, but in context they may not fit. That is very, very important. Independently, that if the sentences are taken in isolation, they are good, but in the context they won't fit. There they need to be edited. So when we look into editing, certain broad areas are there. First, we have to see the word order. In the numbered sentences, we have to see the word order first, and if word order is correct, we have to see whether or not there are any excess words, and then we have to see any words are missing, and finally, we have to see the wrong word. This is a broad category. Under this umbrella, we have so many other issues like agreement, PNG features, tense, relativization, and even use of linkers and all.
Yeah.
So, the broader umbrella is that has only four major slots: word order, missing word, extra word, and wrong word. So, again if we look further, we can further classify maybe the use of tense and all. And here a very important thing I want to tell you is, we cannot expect only one right answer. So, sometimes you will find more than one correct answer, and that really fit in the context. If the response is correct, if the response fits in the context, we have to award marks. And I would like to share an example with you. Please have a look at the slide. Slide, please. Right. This is an extract from the lesson, from the text, The Journey, and you see this. A large crowd gathered at our place the day I was to leave. See, the first sentence is not numbered, so it helps us to identify the tense. So, it is a completed action in past event, and people came up, wish me luck. People came up, wish me luck, and it was 10:20. Is there a thing? It was 10:20 when I left from the wrong. My father has already left. As I had to do a bit of catching up, I walked fastly 3 kilometers down the road. I caught up with my father. Father said, "You are late. Would you like yourself to rest for some time?" Okay, if we see number 22, people came up, wish me luck. So, the problem, came up may not be correct, and rather we can say people came to wish me luck. That is all. One possible. The point is here the wrong word, and it was 10:20 when I left from the wrong. And again, generally left or left for, only possible things, and it was 10:20 when I left for the wrong. If you take in isolation, it was 10:20 when I left the wrong. That is a good sentence, but here the narrator is leaving for the wrong, so it should be left for. So, in isolation, left the wrong is also correct, but in this context, left for the wrong is only possible right answer, and my father has already left. So, generally a tendency is, wherever we find has, we replace it with had. Okay. So, the text gives the right answer. Rather, if somebody says my father already left, also correct. So, question number 22 can be answered either way. Could be my father had already left is as correct as my father already left, or even somebody writes my father left. So, all these answers fit in the context, and we have to award them marks. And if you see the next one, as I had to do a bit of catching up, I walked fastly. Here the wrong word is there. You should say walked fast. And finally, would you like yourself to rest for some time? This sounds this may not be correct. So, we have to remove one word. So, there is an extra word is there. Would you like to rest for some time? That is a good one. So, dear friends, when we are evaluating the test items under editing, we have to see divergent responses, and as long as the responses fit in the context, we have to award the marks, and just cannot say that whatever is giving the textbook is one and only one right answer. No, there are more than one right answers that fit in the context and that deserve marks.
That is good. The language is dynamic, because here the language, when we go with this discourse oriented pedagogy, that language, we feel that language exists only in the discourses, not in a discrete sentences. When you put a sentence and it gives a different meaning, and when you put in a context, it gives a different meaning. So, that this is a very important area where we can address this upon, but he has discussed at length with the example. So, that this is a very important area where we need to discuss now, and we can take up the phone calls also. Now, if anybody has ready to discuss something, anybody ready to share with us, if you have any doubt, you can please. And the phone is on. It will be displayed on the screen. Okay, in the scrolling. Okay, now. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, please. May I know from
Sir,
where
good
are you?
morning, sir.
Good
Sir,
morning.
Good morning, sir. This is Jagdish from Khammam. I'm also one of the resource persons from Khammam, sir.
Yeah, Jagdish.
English
Jagdish.
language.
Yeah, good morning, Jagdish.
Sir,
And
good
what?
morning, Mangareddy, sir. Good morning.
Yeah.
So, sir, I'm very happy to see this question paper blueprint. A few days ago, it was applied to us, and at 10 o'clock onwards, it has been going on there.
Right.
And we are very much happy with the question paper and its setups also, but except for this comprehension, sir.
Right.
Under question number 1 to 4 and 5 to 8, sir.
Okay. 1 to
And
4
the
and 5.
questions are being tested here for each question carries 3 marks, no, sir.
Yeah.
So we are very much worried about the students, sir. What do the students write for one question for 3 marks, sir? Sir, all the questions may not demand 3 to 4 sentences, sir. You are saying that here the answer has to be written in 3 to 4 sentences.
Okay.
So a few questions that we ask there may be factual questions, sometimes may be inferential questions.
Yeah.
But writing 3 sentences or 4 sentences for such a question will definitely become a tough task for the students, sir. That is one point, sir. And next, my doubt.
Yeah, please.
Question number 8, sir. Question number 8. There, in the given blueprint, you are asking the students to choose or pick 3 true statements. Is it compulsory, sir? Is it only a choice? Should we definitely give 3? That question, should we really give that one, sir? Choose 3 true statements, and is it compulsory, sir, or we can put another question also?
Yeah, right. I think, you'll get the answer, but thank you very much for your observations, and I asked Raghuram to speak upon this. Raghuram.
Okay. We have already discussed when the child answers a particular question, we have to see the strength of the response. So, earlier we used to have factual levels of factual questions maybe in lower level, but here every time there is a scope for independent answering.
Yeah.
And the questions will be the test items also, what I am telling you, they are rich, they are rich test items, and they demand answers at length. So, while evaluating them, we have to see the responsivity, is it contextually relevant, the very first thing. And then we will see other language aspects like the use of grammar and PNG features agreement, and even use of linkers and conventions of writing. It is included,
Right.
but the first and foremost is contextually relevant. And every time here what happens, previously we used to find the answer in the test itself.
Yes.
So, such don't I think such questions will not appear. So, the children have to read the text, they have to understand, and they have to understand the question, and they have to answer. Of course, maybe 3 to 5 sentences. If somebody is responding independently, we never count the sentences. If the response is
That's
strong
not
enough,
mandatory, That's what you
Yeah.
wanted to say. That
if
answer is addressed, answer is done.
That is
okay.
left to the discretion of the examiner.
Yeah, that's good.
The first and foremost thing is it should be relevant, and it should have some strength, and it should be on par with the test item. That's very important.
We got another call, and before
one more,
that,
sir, question number 8. Okay, 5 statements are given. The children have to identify the 3.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Many times it's possible, and
Yeah.
sometimes, okay, what are we testing here? The strategy is, some maybe false.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe identify the statements that are false. That's also possible.
Right.
Not
So
always
good.
true. Is also possible. But in toto, we are testing reading comprehension.
Yeah, we'll take another call, because another phone. Please. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please. Introduce yourself and air your question, please.
Sir, we are from Jangam, Karthik.
Jangam. Yeah.
Sir, good morning, sir. మీరు మోడల్ పేపర్ ఇచ్చారు కదా సార్ ఒకటి.
Yeah.
అందులో 15th క్వశ్చన్ ఇన్ ద లెసన్ ద స్టోరీ టెల్స్ we have come to know about the death of Bhayaji in the fire accident. Imagine you are the eyewitness of the accident and write a diary అని ఇచ్చారు కదా సార్.
Right.
దాంట్లో eyewitness అంటే
Okay. Yeah. You, Irshad? Yeah.
Right.
Sir, whenever we are coming up with minor discourses, it was at length explained by our Raghuram sir. Sir, it's just imaginary part, sir. You put yourself in that particular situation and you can write in your own sentences. At the same time, when it is, 15th question, it is text dependent. So when it comes to text dependent, children will able to, put themselves in the socks of the particular character, and then they will answer that. May it be, it's just a model paper, and that question given was also model question. So you need not to worry about that. Look, it could be one such question, suppose you are the friend of Kalam, and you have experienced the humiliation along with Karam. So now write a diary entry. It could be the same thing. So the child will write his own experiences in his own words. End of the day, we will look into that how children, that is what English has divergent right from the beginning. I would like to once again reiterate the same word. English language has that scope, anyone can express their own views, and end of the day, this discourse oriented pedagogy is also meant for the same thing. So we are looking for the same thing. Let the children think, let the children explore his expression, and let him come up with his own writing. As rightly said Raghu sir and other ma'am and sir, we have been telling the same thing, that there is a scope of different variety of answers. That is why the different variety of question being asked. Even we have this time added study skills to give that wings to explore. Hope I answered you.
Yeah. I think, and we'll take some phone calls later, but before we need to complete the session, that's very important. Again, we have 27 to 31 questions are there. It's related to closed test. Now I request Lata to take upon this and her observations and discuss the things. Lata.
Thank you, sir. So this is a closed test which we have 5 marks for it, and we have 5 blanks which are given in the closed test, and there are options also given in down the text, and this is exclusively text independent source only. This is the main thing which you have to keep in your mind. This is text independent, and where the blanks are given and the options are given, the child has to select from the given 4 options and apply there. And here we are going to see how the child is able to use the morpheme of the word and the prepositions or determiners. These are the things which are going to come in this closed test, and relativeness. These are the items that are going to be tested from question number 27 to 31. And given the options also are given, and this is the area where the child can score very easily all the 5 out of 5 points. So this the teachers should emphasize that this test, this area 27 to 31 should definitely be practiced in a regular basis in the class, so that the child easily gains the 5 points. This is about thing. And adding on to Raghuram answer whatever he has given, sir was asking how can we address 4 to 5 sentences. Sir, this is throwing a challenge to us, saying that our question, when we say factual question, you people, whenever you are preparing the question paper, there is only one line asked is what is the name of the narrator. Yeah. The questions should be so challenging that you should be able to motivate the child to address the answer in 4 to 5 questions. So our question framing should be changed. So this please keep in mind, sir. This is from my side. So over to
That's
you.
Good. Added something, I think Jagdish, the question who has asked from the Khammam, I think, and some other answer is, additional answer is given to that. And now when we'll give a slot for the phone call, if 1 or 2 phone calls will take on. And now when we have a still, meanwhile we go to this 32 to 36th question. It is related to vocabulary. So now I ask Irshad to discuss on these questions.
Yeah. This is going to be the last but not the least item, but at the same time, as ma'am said, in the part B, this is there to be taken, you can say, because this will be from the text dependent. Here a paragraph will be given, but a few items will be tested, in which wherein you will be try to ask the spelling and meaning, synonyms or antonyms, collocations, one word substitutes, even idioms can be asked, and homophones and suitable word forms. For that, let me take you through one small example which is already there in your model paper. So here we have given one paragraph from Jamaican fragment. Okay, so here I was amazed. So 32, it's a question number, and amazed, and the question will be asked here. So write the meaning of the underlined word. So surprised or whatever, and there is again divergent answer. If somebody writes taken aback or shocked, we can accept that also. At the same time, again there is another question over there. We will check in that same where son, 33 question will be there. Son, homophone, write the appropriate word, the spelling being given wrong. Can I have the slide please? Yeah, pronunciation, S-U-N and S-O-N. So these kind of simple thing will be there at times, but again it will test the children's knowledge when it comes to those items which we have just now discussed. And again in the 34th one, we have asked one opposite in meaning, opposite word, antonyms will also be tested. Okay, antonym where in 34, and then 34th being given correct word. You know, servant, underlined word is servant, and the question is opposite in meaning. Okay, servant could be owner. So any other answer if comes, we will accept that. Master over there. So and then 35th will be given. Slide please.
Yeah, can you put the slide, on the screen?
So here is a very good question.
Yeah,
you know, you
good.
see, no, they were playmate. So underlined word is playmate. The little dark boy was a neighbor's child. So the question is replace the underlined word with its correct form. Playmate could be, you know, friend. Okay, correct form. Then we can see that the answer, you can see it's a text dependent. So that's why most of the times you have to make sure the children go through the text, go through the lines, and then the 36th one, comments. Yes. And then the 36 White comments. So we have to underline word with suitable answer, and then these kind of questions will be there. So finally every aspect will be covered from 32 to 36. The best thing is the more they practice, the better will become. They will become. And coming to the bit which is just a ma'am discuss, it's better close text. At times, you know, teachers were asking how can they get mastery over these kind of close text. It's better ask the children to work on 9th class text. It could be close text for them, text independent, so they can do, work on there. Those small bits, and if you ask the children to prepare a small bit, that will be the more effective one, because one who prepares, he learns better than one who answers.
That's good, Irshad. You know, because the running short of time, you know, we need to close now because of 5 minutes before only for the technical reason. Now, and finally, I want to ask, Raghuram, and your comment on the final, in the closing sort of thing.
Right. The complete picture of the question paper, and again I want to tell you here, and correct forms, when you come under vocabulary, the major areas are spelling, meaning, pronunciation, and word forms may be singular, plural, and using some derivatives and all, and collocations, the right use of words, and this is what
that's good.
And one more thing is, and when you come to question number 1 to 16, there is a very scope for them to write independently. And when you come to objective, and here the answers, certain things they have to write the right answer in the brackets, and they have to write them.
Nice. Thank you. And over to Lata.
Thank you, sir. Friends, I should congratulate you all. From past 5 to 6 years, we have been moderating the question papers, which I should say there is remarkable improvement in the presenting the discourse questions. Very good. Like the narrative or the input what you are giving has really improved from the beginning to till now. Only one thing I would suggest is, whenever you are framing a question for comprehension, please look at it that suppose you want a factual question should be answered by the child, see that the child is able to pick up that sentences from the text and write on his own. The question should be framed in such way. And when you want inferential, that is anyway very easy to frame, but only thing is keep in mind about the factual questions you are asking. So whenever you want the child, he should be able to pick the sentences but express it on his own way. That's more important. So your question framing should be taken care of, friends, and
Thank you.
that's all, and all the best for your exams.
Thank you, Latha. Thank you, Lata. Thank you very much, all the three panelists, on behalf of teachers and children. Now, thank you. This is only the beginning, my dear children and teachers, and because we put everything in the SCERT website also, if you wanted to have and access those material. And I think this session is going to be useful for you to sensitize to especially teachers, to take up everything into your consideration while dealing with the children, because make them and a very stressless preparedness to face the examination. At the same time, one announcement is that the 𝗹𝗶 Deepika is also there to support you in the form of material instantly. That is going to be supplied 20th of this month. And again, we have Intinta Chadula Panta app is there. That app is also going to be in the field, pressed into the field, and make the children, teachers should direct the children to make use this app, and they can practice it an individual level. So this is very comprehensively this program, and every subject is going to be put forward you to sensitize, to prepare the children for the 10th class examination. I think this is going to be very useful for you all, because then we have we wanted to come to you again to support you in the field. Thank you very much, and have a great time ahead. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you.